Hello and welcome to Darkspell, a Rules Light D&D live play podcast brought to you by the Trinity Force Network. Join me, Dungeon Master Machinorum, as I take our adventurers through a homebrew D&D campaign every Friday. Follow the show on iTunes or the Trinity Force Network YouTube channel. Just search Darkspell Podcast to find us. If you love the show, follow us on Twitter at DarkspellPod, that's P-O-D, and leave us a review on iTunes. Both really help our show gain new listeners and grow. Bingle, you don't really recall how you got here or when you got here, but you kind of snapped to attention.
That is a very familiar feeling to Bingle.
As you're sitting on this gigantic leaf by this beautiful pond, and sitting on an adjacent leaf is this beautiful, the most beautiful creature you have ever seen. She's just about as tall as you, with these kind of ribbons of roots and branches that sort of weave through her auburn hair, and it's almost like.
Is it that leatherworking vendor?
I was just thinking that.
What Blake would associate with
poison ivy.
No. Shell shock? What Blake would associate with shell shock kind of kicks in, and you sort of snap back into focus.
Oh, okay.
As you're just chilling out in this leaf. And Tukers is in your lap, and you're kind of just idly petting his head, listening to this woman speak to you. And she says, yeah, and so this tree's name is Erickson, and he's been here for longest. He's probably one of my best friends, and we like to just kind of hang around before I have to leave and go see somebody else. Right, Bingle? You okay, buddy? Do you want some food? You look kind of hungry. Okay, well, how about this? How about we go and just take a little walk through the woods together?
Who the fuck are you?
Bingle. I'm Rose. You remember.
That name is too on the nose. I now know this is a dream.
No, you're not dreaming. You
Prove
came
it.
into the sticks and we met up. We've been sitting here and talking. I was just introducing you to my friends, the trees.
You can't be friends with trees.
Here, Bingle, just take my hand.
I don't want to touch you.
You're compelled to take her hand, and you do. And the two of you walk through the woods.
I don't get to roll.
Nope. You are not necessarily in control of yourself right now, but you're at least mentally there. And what Rose shows you amazes you. She shows you a different side to nature that you've never seen before. She shows you the trees and the branches, and she teaches you their names, and she shows you the plants as they grow and as they die, and the seeds spread throughout, and the nature grows and blooms. She teaches you about the animals of the forest. She introduces you to a family of squirrels. and you guys sit down together and
Oh my god, do they talk to me?
oh, they're teaching.
Bingle's crying.
They're like, not only do they talk to you, but they've invited you into their home. It's like this little stump, and they're like cooking up acorns for you, and
they cook. That's amazing.
The eldest, they have like this little fire going, this little spit where they have acorns going.
When do the Smurfs pop out?
And they're feeding you roasted acorns, and you can see sort of the eldest squirrel get up and say,
I hope this is...
I am going to get my best acorn for you, Bingle. And he
that
goes down.
Sounds a little bad, and then I laugh loudly.
He goes down into his into this little hole in the ground.
God, I hope this is where Bingle's introduced to alcohol more than anything.
He pulls out this decrepit ass looking acorn, and he's like, Bingle, I found this acorn 3 days ago. Excellent vintage. Please eat it.
That's an old ass acorn, bro.
Slowly, once again, you feel that shell shock.
I don't want to. And I like put my lips down. I'm like,
You start to realize you're in the middle of the forest with a couple of squirrels. And Rose is just sort of sitting on the ledge of their house, just kind of kicking her feet, staring at you happily.
What do you mean I slowly start to... I thought I already realized.
You're fading in and out. You're kind of coming in out of these conscious moments.
Oh, like all of a sudden now I went from basically Bingle, as far as he's concerned, he went from on the leaf to now he's with some squirrels.
Yeah. Like you remember getting taught lessons about the woods and stuff. And these like really, really happy moments with Rose. And like she's so beautiful, and like you're traveling together and she's teaching you things and you're learning so much about the woods. And these squirrels are wicked nice.
Wow.
But you're in the sticks?
Right.
You're in the woods again?
Right.
Where's Bingle?
Where is Bingle?
Rose kind of gets a concerned look on her face. She can see that you're sort of falling out of sorts again, and she reaches out her hand once more. Okay.
I'm just following along for the ride.
Okay, so she takes your hand once more, and in a haze, you dive deeper into this forest, and this time you're high up on a tree, and you're way, way above the sticks. You can actually see the storm lingering just off of the coastline.
How close to the coast am I?
You are a few miles. Okay. You can see, the ocean from where you are, but you can tell that, like, it's just this, like, kind of surreal wave of treetops surrounding you. And she's telling you, as you kind of snap back to reality once more, some story about, like, the other gnomes that used to be here. And she says, people like us, we've got to stick together. We can't keep separating. And you can tell maybe she's kind of getting a little political.
And that sort of stops right there, and Bingle sort of looks at her, and he means like, what do you mean people like us?
Well, like, like forest gnomes and stuff.
Yeah, I wouldn't know. I mean, I'm not...
Bingle.
What?
And she kind of goes up to you. She sort of slowly approaches you. And she puts her hand on, this time over your eyes. And flashing before you, the scenes move by too quick for you to kind of take notice at first. But you are flashed with the scene of a familiar forest. Back by the breakwater, except you're not with your family of dwarves, you're with a family of something else, something that looks, well, just like you, but just a little bit different. And there's your mom, and there's your dad, and your two little brothers, and your weird cousin with the green hair that kind of waves back. And things are moving quickly as trees sort of fall around you, and everyone scatters, and you see everyone run in different directions, and you're there, and you can hear a name called out, Saturn, run. But people are running in every different direction.
No!
It cuts again to, this time, a group of just strange-looking creatures, short and stout and wide, but otherwise similar to you enough that when they pick you up and kind of hold you there by your ankle, dangling you in front of them, and you can tell that they're kind of discussing whether or not they're going to keep you, but they do. And then you see visions of your childhood. You're being raised by this unfamiliar group of dwarves, slowly telling yourself, piece by piece, that you're one of them, but you know it never feels right. Then it cuts to your initiation day into the Rangers of Breakwater, the people of Marin. You're proud of something, you think, but you're not sure. And then you remember Deaden, and you remember the dark magic and the crystal in the cave. And then you remember Maolog and Kolgrim and the harbor and your lighthouse. And now you're here, and you don't know where you are, and you don't know who's in front of you, but you know you're lost, and you remember everything, and you're fully aware of your surroundings. And Rose pulls her hand back and goes, "You see? You're just like me."
Bingle can't speak.
Rose just kind of stares at you a little bit, and she tries to take your hand once more, but quickly realizes that you're maybe a little bit too far gone to continue to be under her spell, her snare. And she says, "Bingle, are you okay? Here, drink some water." She hands you kind of a curled up leaf filled with water that she seems to just summon from nothing.
I sip it. My hands are shaking.
You regain a bit of your composure.
Bingle's straight fucked right now. Is Tukers there? What's Tukers doing?
Oh yeah, Tukers is there. He's just sitting there with you.
Where are we?
We're on top of the sticks.
Why am I here?
Oh, I thought we could be friends.
Why me?
Because you're just like me.
Just like you.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw you with your friends, and I decided we could talk.
Where are my friends? My friends.
I don't know. Somewhere, I guess.
Can you take me to my friends?
I don't really know where they are. It's been like a week. So, I'm sure they're fine.
It's been what?
So this is where you see the little black title screen come up, and it says 1 week earlier.
1 week earlier.
So Maolog, Kolgrim, and Lucas just watched some bizarre ass shit come up. 1 second, Bingle was lucid and speaking to you about voices he could hear in his head, and the next, he turns tail on his feet, walks off, and the forest seems to swallow him up. So here's how we're going to play this out. We're going to figure out what happens in the week up before Bingle's revelation and when you guys initially lost him. So what I want to do is I want you guys to tell me what you do for like the day, kind of as we go. And we're going to roll some dice to figure out how well you do that thing. And we'll make up these 7 days and figure out what happens.
Okay.
So
right.
So Bingle's gone. Lucas is there. What do you guys do?
So we have a ranger, right? Lucas is a ranger?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're not gonna get
I should
lost.
clarify. He's a scout.
He's a scout. Okay, so he's got like a sense of direction, right?
Decently.
And how is he holding up? Is he like injured? Like he's injured, but like is he like on death's door?
He's pretty messed up. He definitely just watched the last of his squad die, which he wasn't thrilled about. He is deep.
I don't care about his mental well-being. I'm more concerned about
physical well-being. He's doing okay. He's shaken for sure. He's shook.
He's so shook.
He's shook, but not in the jungle. But he's physically fine.
Okay, so he's physically okay. Now I want to know about his mental stability. Are we going to be able to use him for help? Was he the leader of the scouts, or was he just like one of the randos and one of the scouts died?
He explains to you that they're like the army or the town watch, whatever you want to call it, of
the
Morin.
Militia.
Yeah, the militia of Morin Harbor is just that. Like, he is a scout because he knows the terrain pretty well, and can move through it quickly. But out here in the sticks, he is entirely like turned around. He doesn't know which way's up, which way's down. He agrees that moss probably grows on the south side of the rock, but outside
really
of
know.
that.
North side.
North side. So my question is, we can see the sun.
No, you are.
We can't see the sun.
There is a natural light within the sticks, as kind of shafts of light sort of shoot through the very, very high treetops, hundreds of feet high treetops, but you cannot glean the height or the direction of the sun in this moment.
Unless we go back to the cliff.
Yeah, you traveled for about walking distance an hour, so it'd be an hour trek back. And I can tell you, like, the way I want you to play this out is I want you to tell me my goal is this today. I want to accomplish this today. I want to find my way to the coast. I want to look for Bingle. And we'll roll dice to determine
first,
how well you guys do.
I'm the realist.
I would like spend a few hours looking for Bingle.
Okay, why don't you roll me...
Keeping in mind what direction we were traveling to know that's where the coast was.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, like, getting turned around is kind of a novel concept because you only know north and south. Like, how much more lost are you going to get? But go ahead and roll me a survival check.
Okay, let's see if I can have some better luck on this one than the earlier one. I got an 11.
Okay, so with an 11, you frantically, for at least an hour or so, search amongst the woodland area where you know Bingle to have disappeared. And from what you can tell, right before your eyes, these branches grew out of nowhere. These roots sort of carried Bingle off. And those are still there, but Bingle is not. There's no trace of footsteps or drag marks or anything like that you would notice. It just seemed like all this stuff grew out of nowhere, but now he's gone.
All right, if that's the case, and we can't find him, I would figure that if he can figure his way, if any of us were going to find our way through the woods, he can, and he knows where we're going, so let's just go there.
Okay, so you guys want to head south.
Yes.
I'm going to have you roll, and you guys can determine who is taking the lead for the party, aka doing the rolling. Roll me a survival check to see how well you're able to navigate the wilds trying to go south with only basic information.
I'm going to assume that, Kolgrim, you're kind of taking care of Lucas, and so I'll lead the way for this one. I rolled a 13.
Okay, so you guys travel for the day, and you feel like you're making progress heading south. but you know that the sticks are large, and you know that there's really no solid way at this point to tell how far you've made it. But it is nighttime, as it is getting quite dark quite fast. How do you choose to play that out?
I mean, at this point, fuck it, we're still lost in the woods. We should just probably make camp. Try and get whatever sticks that we can to make a small fire or something like that. Make sure Lucas is kind of set up and isn't gonna pass out and die in the middle of the night. And I will take first watch.
Okay. So you guys spend the night on watch. Why don't you, Kolgrim, roll me a perception check? And I'll use this as the average for the party. So what you more notice than anything is at night the Styx is pretty peaceful in where you're at right now. You can tell that there are, the standard forest creatures out lurking. You can hear a wolf. You can hear an owl. You can hear the, scampering of other nocturnal creatures. And you're comforted at the fact that, if you figured if there's a goblin party nearby, you'd hear them, and two, you probably wouldn't hear the animals who would be trying to avoid them.
Gotcha.
So your night passes without incident, and you awake the next morning. It's day 2 now. Bingleless.
Well, it's certainly quieter than normal.
Way quieter than normal.
Good one.
You guys going to continue on your path?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I figured try to get to the coast as quick as possible.
Yeah, roll me another survival check. The path ahead of you is getting a little more rocky and a little more dense, and traveling is becoming slightly more difficult.
All right.
Wait, were you rolling? Or
I mean, I can, but
okay.
yeah,
I rolled.
Yeah.
I rolled. So I got a 6.
Maolog, at the helm, you find the going pretty tough, and it's not long before you feel like you might be getting turned around. It's about midday at this point, and you can't really tell if you've made any progress. You've sort of been zigging and zagging throughout the path here, and well, to be frank, you're pretty lost. You don't quite know where you are. The day sort of wanes as you sort of aimlessly lead the group deeper and deeper into the Styx. Finally, you guys kind of take a seat and decide that now is as good a time of any is to take a break, and you make camp. A day squandered trying to find your way to the coast.
Lucas, is there anything you can tell us about these woods? How long have you been in Morin Harbor? Have you been here your whole life? Are there any stories about what happened to Bingle in the woods from 2 days ago?
Well, we don't we don't travel into the Styx too often. In the early days, the people in Morin Harbor, they tried to harvest as much as they could, and of course the coring wood on the west is haunted, so no one liked getting their sticks and stuff from there. But we started cutting down trees, and this is way before my time, but a lot of people died out here. Some from just the dangers of the woods, and others from trying to knock over gigantic trees. That's when we started to realize that, the branches that fell off were so big, some of them were as big as trees. They'll be fine. We could use those. So we stopped going in deep, We didn't really want to mess with this forest too much. You get turned around so quickly that, it's just frankly dangerous. We don't go in here. And God, I have no idea where we are right now. Jesus, I've never. This is the furthest I've ever been in the Styx. Just when we saw Corey out there. Jesus, Corey. That is the furthest I've ever stepped foot in here. Maybe a scout, but, normally I'm a baker. And he kind of hangs his head low.
Well, that was great.
Yeah, you guys are up shit creek right now.
Yeah, this ain't good.
Don't you have like a spirit animal you can call?
Yeah, I can do that. Do you want
to do that tonight, or do you want to do that tomorrow?
Well, I can pop it out tonight to have it. I get it back after a long rest, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, I may as well do it tonight so that we have it tomorrow just in case.
Yeah, and I'll stand watch.
Okay. So you begin to channel.
I call forth your
spirit bear Yor, and he materializes in front of you, and you can tell that just having the spongy moss of the forest under his spectral paws gives him great delight, and it's even better to see you because he loves you.
I love him too, and I hope he knows that.
But that's replaced very quickly, you can feel, by the innate sense of dread and terror as he barrels off in a direction deeper into the woods.
Is it in the direction we were traveling, or is it
different direction?
All right, let's mark off that direction.
Yeah, I'll keep a mental note of what direction.
No. Let's do a mental note and a physical note.
Okay. We'll set some object, whether it be a branch or something else, in that direction.
All right, we set a bundle of rocks into a little pyramid, and I also score the side of a tree with a knife.
Okay. Kolgrim, you feel you're getting further and further away from you, and a great sense of urgency sort of fills your body, but you resist it as you know you're in unfamiliar territory at night. And you can feel the presence of Yor dissipate, but the sense of dread
remains.
Yeah, the sense of dread and urgency definitely continue on throughout the night, and you have a hard time sleeping, but sleep catches up with you eventually. Who is taking watch?
I am. Want perception check?
Yes, please.
21.
21. Night goes by uneventfully. Again, you kind of pick up on the splendor of this place, that when you can find a moment not to worry about Bingle and worry about the fact that you don't really know where you are, there's a natural beauty to it, and that's something you can appreciate. But morning comes, and we begin a day anew. We're on day 3.
We're heading in the direction that Yor was taking us.
Okay, so you kind of mosey out in that direction, and Kolgrim, why don't you roll me a perception check?
All right. This is 17.
Dope. This is more of a survival check realm, I feel, but this is you.
I mean, my perception and my survival are the same.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. What you begin to notice as you're traveling is the distinct tracks, droppings, and markings of a local bear den.
Oh. All right.
Are you going to get a pet now, too? Is everyone going to get a pet?
I mean, I have one, but he's just very far away.
You guys travel deeper into the woods, and it's not long heading in the general direction and following the intuition of Kolgrim before you come across this den. It's a large cave built into the side of a hill, this massive, massive opening leading into darkness. What do you do?
First things first, I'm going to let me see. I have to check on this real quick. Speak with animals, because I know it takes 10 minutes, but I don't know how long it lasts. Hey, it lasts 10 minutes. Okay. I'm going to take 10 minutes to do a ritual cast of Speak with Animals as part of my primal path for my bear spirit path.
That's fine.
And then once that's done, I'll enter the cave. Just that way, like, if we get in there and there is something in there, I can at least talk to it.
Okay. In what manner are you entering the cave? Are you sauntering in there as if it was anything else? Are you going to take a more stealthy approach?
No, I'm going to, more stealthy approach.
Okay. Why don't you, leading the group, roll me a stealth check?
Okay. That is an 8.
An 8. So you...
Not very stealthy.
You move into the darkness and not wanting to excite attention by lighting a torch, you sort of frisk your way through the darkness, trying to be as quiet as you can. And it's not long before you trip over a massive, hunking mass in the center of your path and loudly fall to the floor. From the fading light, you see the corpse of a bear.
Oh, shit. I'm going to light a torch.
Okay. As you light this torch, the light bounces off the cavern around you, and the assembled party, Kolgrim and Maolog, may be a little more familiar with this kind of sight, but Lucas is entirely taken aback. As the light fills the room, it begins dancing off of a strange liquid that sort of hangs on the walls and drips from the ceiling.
I immediately pull my weapon out.
This room is entirely coated in the dark, pulsing purple mass of dark magic. And as you look to your feet, Kolgrim, at the corpse, you can see that it's been rotted out from the inside, and from the wounds in this bear just are eking out remnants of this dark purple ooze.
What kind of wounds?
Yeah, can I tell how old the wounds are?
Give me a let's see.
That'd be medicine.
I kind of like to mix these up. Why don't you give me a
What a medicine check.
Yeah, medicine check.
Oh, I suck at medicine. That's a 12.
You can tell that these are not made by weapons. It's not blunt trauma or a cut from a blade, but more like a pestilence, a disease. You can see these sort of, I guess, masses that have sort of, formed all over.
So it's got like magic tumors, right?
Yeah. Why don't you roll me a history check as well, Kolgrim?
Oh, Jesus. That's even worse, Mott. I rolled a 20.
You rolled a 20.
Not a nat 20, a 19 plus 1, but I got 20 total.
This to you looks exactly like what affected your bear.
The bears on my island.
Yep. The difference here is that where you had time to go in and save the day, it seems like this place, it's already taken its toll. There's no signs of life, not even the magic itself, which usually is quite animated when it's in the presence of life and in a living carrier. Not even that seems to take effect, but the whole place just reeks of death and is festered by the remnants of the dark magic all around you.
Okay, so we got that purple shit everywhere, but it appears to be dead. What else remains of the cave? Is it just, have we reached the end of the cave? We're as deep as
can we just search the shit out of this fucker?
Yeah. Why don't you guys give me an investigation check, I guess? Either one is fine.
Well, I got a 4.
Investigation.
I'm very heartbroken.
I got a crit too.
You failed.
The smell and the sights are overwhelming to you. Kolgrim, you remember the trials you faced in Bear Mountain and
this is my knob.
The effect that it had on the elders in your village and your brother, not by blood but by bond. And Maolog, you're seeing red here as you can remember this was the substance that took down your whole order and empowered your greatest enemy. The both of you, disgusted, are compelled to leave this place.
Should we would I think it right to burn out the cave? Try to.
You certainly could.
I guess all right. I'm gonna try and at least light a fire or put stuff in the cave to attempt to burn away some of the darkness, I guess. I don't know how effective fire would be in removing what residual effects of dark magic are here, but I feel like we need to at least make an attempt to purify this in some way.
Okay, so I'll say for the rest of the night, you kind of very carefully take your time using these sort of larger sticks and branches to kind of huddle the other corpses of the bears into a central pile and give them a bit of a bit of a funeral, if you will, trying to purge whatever is left within the cave. The smoke rises up heavily from that location, and at this point, it's very late in the night, and you sit outside the mouth of this cave as it burns from within. Too deep to risk being spread outside to threaten the rest of the forest, but is bright and kind of a reminder, I guess, of why you're here on this island in the first place. It's late at night, and you guys go to set up your camp once more. Who's going to take watch tonight? Lucas has stats to meta a little bit.
Okay, let's have Lucas do it then.
He can do first watch. I'll take second.
Did Lucas just fuck us?
We wake up and Lucas is gone.
You wake up and Lucas is gone.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh God, fuck me. Why? I should have said nothing.
To meta, he rolled a 3.
Ay.
Plus 1 is a 4. Yeah, you wake up and Lucas is
these
gone.
NPCs can't do shit right.
Yeah, fuck them. We don't need them.
One of them stole a companion of yours and made him forget a week. Some of them are very capable.
None of the good ones are.
Maybe you're just not talking to the right ones.
Maybe not.
All right, you guys wake up. What do you do? Lucas is gone.
Do we can I check for traps to see where he went?
Yeah, sure. Survival, if you will.
Okay. Yeah. Check for traps, check for tracks. Let's see this. That's a 22 total.
Oh, you can very clearly see drag marks and little tiny feet that seem to leave your cave. There's also a small smattering of blood. Not quite enough to denote a death, but perhaps someone who was knocked out.
Maolog, I found some traps. Or tracks.
Okay, we need to be careful. If they took him out and just took him with them, whoever they are, and they didn't come and go for us, then we've got some issues.
Okay. Do you guys want to follow the tracks or?
Yeah, I'm gonna try and save Lucas.
Let's stealthily follow them.
Okay. So why don't you? Okay, so you guys spend a good amount of time following these tracks. It's very clear as they're cut through the woods. You have no idea how long ago Lucas may have been taken, but you travel anyway, and you eventually come up towards something which is quite clearly seen. Despite sort of the enclosed nature of the sticks as a forest. You can't really see much else other than woods surrounding you. You finally see off in the distance, about a mile as you crest over this rocky, hilly area. Through the trees, you see a brilliant light. It's the natural light of the sun shining over a grove. And you would think that looking at this grove in the past, maybe it would have been a beautiful sight. But now it is something much different. You can see a mound with a dead, rotted tree at the top. Surrounding this is a wooden wall, cut hastily, jagged, sharp edges splintering out from either side. You see what appears to be a bit of a fort. It's got a large wall on the outside, a lower tier with an upper tier that has some sort of hastily crafted outpost. From this distance, you can see small figures, some armed, some not, but of green skin, what you surmise to be goblins in their fortress in the woods.
All right, well, Lucas is dead.
I don't think we can take all of them out with just the two of us.
No, we need to get Bingle. Can we see any evidence of a cart or dragging? I'm looking for evidence of them having looted the part of the ship that is in the south part of the sticks.
From where you are, you can kind of see the high wall from the outside and the top of the second tier, because it's kind of like this hill going upwards. From your distance, why don't you give me like a really solid perception check just to see how much you can glean from this?
22.
Ooh, nice. Lovely. You see a primary entrance to this fortress guarded by a handful of goblins. Up on the second tier, however, you can see what appears to be an encampment of even more goblins with not quite countless, but sort of moving figures back and forth. You can't quite keep track from your distance on how many are there, but it does seem to be quite a few. And from within this second tier, next to this massive stump of a tree rotted, is this much larger outpost, which appears to have some archers on the top of it. You can see these kind of ramparts where several figures are standing. From this distance, you can't quite get the kind of detail that you'd want to see, for one, exact numbers of the people within, but also any kind of crates or loot or otherwise. But the trail that you've been following clearly leads straight to this location.
Okay.
Do you know if goblins can see well at night?
Neither of you would have any way of knowing that. Maybe.
They see well enough that they were able to ambush Lucas.
Yeah. I mean,
despite him being skilled and keeping alive.
I'd let you guys roll a history check to see what you know about goblins, but neither of you are like come from backgrounds where you would deal with
goblins exist there. Yeah, I get it.
I just rolled for the heck of it, just to see what I have. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I don't know shit.
What did you roll, just out of curiosity?
I just rolled an 11.
Goblins are green and small.
Nice. Like
Bingle. You get sad a little bit.
Can we guesstimate how many would be there?
Well, you know that there are 4 at least, because there was 4
how
who
big,
hit the harbor.
How big total is this place?
Roughly.
Are we talking more in harbor size? Are we talking hunting lodge size? Beastfoot Manor size.
More Beastfoot Manor size. It's a large... Okay. The outpost at the top seems pretty large, but this is a wooden structure that was kind of like built really fast, you can tell. But the amount of manpower or goblin power in this case it would take to even erect such a place, that's going to take some time.
Okay, so there's a substantial number of goblins.
Yeah.
We definitely can't take them at this point.
Your best guess would be about 20, just by looking at the size of this camp, kind of how many tents you can roughly see in their living area. Like a conservative estimate is 20.
Okay.
What do you do?
I want to burn this place down real bad. Real bad, but I don't think we can.
It is getting closer towards night. You have enough time.
I'm gonna, you know what? I'm gonna fucking summon Yor again.
Yeah, that was what I was rolling towards.
Okay, you can definitely do that. Yor seems, as you summon him, a little distressed. He is remorseful about the den.
Other stuff,
you can tell that's sort of on his mind. And he's looking over the monstrosity that is this outpost in what was probably a very beautiful sight in this woods. But he sort of turns on his heels and heads in the opposite direction and kind of turns towards you, waiting for you to follow.
I immediately start following him.
Okay. He leads you deep within the woods. He's kind of weaving in and out of different locations, and there are times you think that he has abandoned you, that perhaps the power is worn off, or
and he shows back up.
Yeah, he appears on like a high hill or further off into the distance, and you follow him for quite some time, even as the light begins.
Is this
to
the longest
fade.
Time that he's kind of been visible?
Oh, definitely. Like,
shit.
His presence is really connected with you here.
That's cool.
And you're crawling through these woods, almost blind to the fact that like you've been traveling all day. It took a couple of hours right when you woke up just to get to that outpost on its own. This is like late at night. It's dark. You can barely see anything except for the bright spectral glow that he gives off in the night. Maolog following you wordless. But then you smell it. And more importantly, you hear it. The roaring sound of the coast. As you stop to take a breath and Yor disappears for the last time, you can see and hear the storm through the trees as you've arrived on the southern coast of the Styx.